one.
Welcome back, viewers, to another edition of the Heads Up podcast on the Form Pro website. Neil Davis and the GOAT to hopefully give you a bit of entertainment, a bit of information, and who knows what else. Neil, good morning to you.
Morning, GOAT. You're looking very refreshed after a good night's sleep. And last week's good racing, but even better for the listeners, for the rugby result with Taranaki. You were pretty confident last week of Taranaki making it. Was it 10 out of 10 wins this season?
That's unbeaten this season, so
unbelievable. Yeah,
that was a nice result. Not really in too much doubt most of the way through the game, so we'll take that. It was quite enjoyable watching, I have to say, interspersed with watching a friend win 3 races on the day as an owner at Awapuni. So it was a big old day, just quietly, Neil.
Yeah. Now, if you like pigs and owning horses, you get a pretty good combination. Now, the performance of the day had to be Levante, I thought, on Saturday. Geez, what a win by her. Just amazing. Just amazing.
Yeah, just donkey licked them, really. Was handier than probably some people would have anticipated. And Brian Elliott, I don't think he really led her out of about second or third gear. But what was bizarre, Neil, was the betting drift. The TAB responded partly. I think it opened like $2.50 and closed around that $4.55 mark. But if you looked at the Betfair exchange, you could have got around $8, nearly $9 trading there. So I think Betfair is a great tool. If you're betting, waiting till those last 3 to 5 minutes to have a bet, you'll be able to see which way the price is going to move based on what the horse is trading on at Betfair. So you would have known if you thought, well, Levante's now at the 3s, you probably would have waited because you would have seen what it was trading at Betfair, and you could have waited and you would have got that $4.50 sort of thing from the tab. So if you don't follow Betfair in those last few minutes, you can sometimes miss out on price moves. And alternatively, you can see if a horse is trading basically at its price, the TAB price, it will probably come in on the TAB. So you want to quickly back it before that move comes in. So good information, I find, by just following those Betfair prices. If you're at home and got the ability to have a couple of screens open, highly recommend it.
Definitely. And it can be a sort of betwixt and between situation, can't it, with a horse like Levante? You see it going out to $6, $7, $8. You think, geez, it lost the lead going around to the barriers. Obviously, she hasn't, but you're thinking, gee, what's going on here? But I knew she was spot on. Yeah.
I would suggest, though, Neil, when you do see horses trading on Betfair well above their TAB price and are reasonably, tight in the market, I'm not talking $100 shots here. Generally speaking, they don't win.
Yeah.
But Levante was an exception to that. So, and I think, the camp was pretty happy with her all the way through. So great to see her back. She'll go next up into the railway, I believe.
Yep, that's what I've heard too.
So
the thing is,
I know we were all big on her last year, or actually this year, on the 1st of January, and she ran some amazing sectionals, but the way the race panned out didn't suit. So maybe she can go 2 better than the 3rd she ran in this year's railway on New Year's Day. I think there are other good performances at Te Rapa yesterday with Show Roses, Just Amaze winning the other big races.
Just Amaze and Judy's Song, David Green getting the Quinella. It was a great performance. And Just Amaze, he's just relaxing so much better. Big, long, striding horse. Race like the Auckland Cup is going to be ideal for him, over 2 miles, or Wellington Cup. He's looking spot on for that, the way he's relaxing now. And David Green will set him for one of those, I'm sure, and take it from there. Show Roses, OP Boston, wasn't it? Right? It was a really good ride. To Illicit, I thought, had her chance. Finished on strongly, good sectionals, but maybe just second up, not as sharp as she was fresh up. But excellent racing. And
Travelling Light, probably the unlucky horse from the race, didn't quite get all favours up the straight. So I wouldn't be dropping her either just yet.
Yeah, and she was back on the fence, wasn't she? 3 back. Yeah,
3 or 4 back. Kind of had to weave, but got held up. Lost a bit of momentum. Up the straight. So one to keep an eye on, because I know the horse is going pretty well.
Good. Okay. Now we've got some good racing at Tarawa tomorrow, and race 6 is the Eagle Technology Stakes. Really good race. Looking forward to it. And going through the form here, I changed my mind 2 or 3 times, but it's going to be a decent track. Fine weather forecast, which is great for Tarawa, because if it gets wet, they're usually well, sometimes they go off on the inside, sometimes they don't. But how do you see the race panning out?
I think the key to this race is the conditions of it being set weights and penalties. So horses that have won group races in the last 18 months get penalised for that. So Royal Performer, having won that Group 1 race, gets extra 3 kilos above the standard. The monetisation won the Easter, so there's 2 kilos above, etc., etc. So that's how it sort of works. So horses that been out of form a bit or haven't won group race in the last 18 months, but might still be good horses, can often sneak in under the radar on the weight scale. And I think there's a horse in this race that has done that by the name of number 6, the Mitigator. Remember, this horse did win the Thorndon Mile carrying a similar weight coming up 2 years ago at Trentham. Won this race 2 years ago as well, leading all the way. And I don't know about you, Neil, but I think it should get a relatively soft lead tomorrow.
I just can't see anything taking it on. I think you did spot on there with your analysis. I think, and going back to that Harcourt's Thorndon Mile, I'm still getting counselling over Rock on Wood not getting out in time in that race and finishing 4th. But now the Mitigator, he should lead from that wide gate, just slide over. And interesting thing for me is I originally went for Les Creux down the bottom there, drawn 2. I think she'll get out and trail. And demonetisation, on his first fresh up run, he was sort of at the back of the field early on and didn't have that early speed. And then when he won at Pukekohe, he was a couple of lengths behind at the jump too and had to be hunted up by Leith Innes to get 4th outer. So I can see him easily being 3 back inner. And as you mentioned before with Travelling Light, if they don't go too hard up front, he's going to be in trouble giving weight to the Mitigator. And I can see the Mitigator kicking here. And as long as the inside's okay, they're going to be damn hard to beat it. Nearly double figure odds.
Well, yeah, $10. And I know the stable are happy with where he's at. And yeah, so who knows? I think it's value. And I'm picking Neil. Won't be $10 come starting. I think the price will drop. So let's see if we can predict a betting move with the Mitigator, and hopefully he can repeat his performance of 2 years ago in this race and get the job done, and we'll have some money for Christmas.
Yes, well, we all want. I reckon the Quinella there is the Mitigator. I'll just see what it's paying. The Mitigator and Les Creux. I reckon they'll lead trail. And what's that going to pay? It's going to pay $18. I think that's a really good bet. May pay more or less on the tote, you don't know, but $18, gee, that's definitely worth taking. I'm going to take it shortly after we finish this anyway. Okay, no, good race. Okay, so we both agree on the Mitigator, leading all the way. Sean Mackay, 55 kgs. He actually has the fastest time. He ran 1:33, I wrote it down, 1:33.18. When he won this race, as you know, 2 years ago at Ellerslie. That's flying, you know. And his last start win, he beat Credit Manager, and he won really well at Turchak yesterday. So the form's strong, the time's strong, the map's strong. So, gee, even bet in top 4. What's he paying in top 4? I'm getting quite excited now. Let's have a look. 210, double your money.
Don't worry about top 4, Neil. Just focus on that win price.
Yeah, you're right too. 10 and 420 for second, 10 and 270 for the top 3. Yeah. No, looks like a good race. Nothing else you like there tomorrow at all, or Wanganui?
Oh, well, I just want to talk about another betting move. I mean, we've seen a few of them, and one went astray last Friday with Show Us More at Taranaki, the Alan Sharrock debutant not getting the job done, but that's racing. But that was a big move, and I see one in the Wanganui Cup, race 7 tomorrow in the River City. Yep. You Are a Star, 750 into 450.
Thank you.
And that's on the back of no scratchings at all. So that's basically weight of money, shall we say. And especially when the stable had the original favourite for the race, Marietta Lane, at 450, has drifted out to 550. So you'd think they have clearly shown their hand which horse they believe is the better chance. And I know this is a pretty progressive staying type, and it's had a couple of runs in this time round to sort of get prepared for this type of race. And I'd be very interested to see how it goes. And I know the Fraser-Orette stable, I think about 10 days ago, their last 5 starters they had to the races were all winners. So you'd say it's a stable in good form. Not quite so good yesterday, but I think You Are a Star looks a progressive horse, and probably not a betting proposition now at that price, but one to keep an eye out for. And it's always good to follow these betting moves, aren't they, Neil? Like just from an interest point of view, not saying jump in when the price is caved in, but just great to see, I guess, some punters getting on early and getting the overs and the results. There was one at Pakenham last night, a first starter was about 12s into about 350, and that saluted. So
Yeah.
good fun watching them.
Yeah, especially if they're from the same stable, like you mentioned there, Marietta Lane, and also on the trots as well. You see something from the Purdens, something drifting, another horse coming in. I think you get a pretty good lead from those figures, which horse is going to have the most chance of winning. So it doesn't always work out, but I'd like to say most times it does. So, okay. Yeah, no, good racing tomorrow. Looking forward to some really good horse. Sakura Blossom early on. She looks like a class thing. Looking forward to her race. Right. And last week we had, we mentioned that before, Taranaki. You said take the -4.5, and they won by 13 points. Low stress collect there. You got one sorted out this week, or are you going to have a siesta?
No, I think we'll just give it a miss this week. Probably just that again. Sort of, it's crazy that we're saying in the last week in November it's the changing of the seasons. The rugby's finished. Oh, that's right. We did also say, remember last week, Neil, right at the end, didn't really like the All Blacks, and they got shown up, didn't they, by the French?
Yeah, I think I didn't have a bet in the game. But I thought 270. I didn't look at the point start, but Jesus, the French were
Got out 290 actually, which was
Shit.
quite tasty actually.
Yeah.
But no, we'll give the we won't have a sports tip this week, but we've got enough money in the tin to give out a free $20 multi to the winner of our multi comp from last week. Shall we, Neil?
Yeah, too right. We had 8 correct. What did Danny? 8 correct answers, and the question was.
Well, it was a subjective question. Who is the best horse to have won the Auckland Thoroughbred Breeders' Stakes? And I think everyone, maybe bar one person, said Sunline. So we agree with that. Sunline clearly a class act. Won the race twice, actually. I think, was it 99 and 2000, or was it 2000? No, 2000. No, 99 and 2000. So
Yeah.
8 people. Let's go with the outside box, the pink rug, number 8.
Number 8. Steve H. Good on you, Steve. He's in most weeks and finally got one, so well done. Yeah, I'll put your multi up tomorrow by lunchtime. Good luck there. Okay, brickbats and bouquets. There's been a lot going on in racing at the moment.
Let's do a new question.
Why not?
Yeah, this will be an interesting question. Not Googleable really, but have a guess. Which New Zealand jockey is returning to the saddle on the 1st of December, having had over a year out due to injury? A friend of the show, shall we say? So that should be a clue. If you want to hazard a guess who that jockey is, text or email your answer through to Neil. You're in the draw for next week's multi.
Yep, 027 352 6402 or FormPro at formpro.co.nz. Yeah, no, that rider's coming back very shortly, which is great to hear.
Yeah, we need them. There's a few having a bit of forced time out, shall we say, due to our friends at the RIB.
Oh yeah, with penalties from what
rules, yeah.
Good to see. Good to see.
Two other things, so
soccer to them. But it must be expensive for riders, to get a fine and use a few days, especially at this time of year and coming into the more lucrative part of racing.
Yeah. But hey, the rules are the rules.
Yeah. Did they mention why it happens? Is it they just get tied up with the adrenaline? But I know you speak to a few riders, but
yeah, that's basically the general gist of it.
You can't blame them.
Well, when you tell the cop that you had adrenaline and you're speeding down the highway at 120, the adrenaline kicked in. Do you think he listens?
Well, he probably listens, but he
sorry,
smiles.
Sonny, the speed limit's 100. But yeah, I think it's part of it's a bit of a learning curve in that past, just altering the style of riding with that non-consecutive strikes. So you can't hit a horse every stride in the last 100. Yeah. So there's a little bit of that, but it's been in now for coming up 3 months. So hopefully we're adapting. But yeah, that's always a bit of a bugbear. So that's all part and parcel of game, unfortunately.
It
But
is, yeah. If it was easy,
Yep.
you know, if it's
let's move
straightforward,
on.
it'd be boring.
You've got some positive and negative.
Have I? Yeah. Okay. I just want to two or three things down here. The tight markets by the bookies. A lot of the markets, we mentioned that before, about you get a horse coming in like Eurostar. Let's just have a look at Eurostar. Maybe they can catch me out here. Eurostar from 7.15 to 4.50. Marietta Lane goes from 4.50 to 5.50. Fair enough. Bonnie Ezra out 50 cents. Well, the rest have gone out. The next two or three out. That's fair enough. Okay, but sometimes you see horses that come in, and horses just don't go out in price. That just doesn't make sense. Or you'll see all horses drift $1 or 50 cents. Why don't they open the market at a lower percentage? So it entices the early money rather than thinking, oh, they're always opening up tight. I won't bother until the day of the races or whatever. So, what are your thoughts about it from their point of view, a bookie's point of view?
Oh, the bookies are probably, I guess the difference is like that Taranaki maiden race, Sharrock's runner came in significantly, and no other runners went out. Different when it's a fully disclosed form race like an open handicap 2,040 metre race versus a maiden with probably 5 or 6 first starters. So they're probably waiting to see where the money was going to come before they started drifting.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's frustrating. I'll tell you what, I'm not sure if we've talked about this on Heads Up before, but if you like a horse early doors, so at least the day before the races, or if not 2 days before, back at Winsurance 2 rather than on Final Field Win, because if you get a scratching or two, especially if a favoured runner comes out, you get deductions on your Final Field Win price, but no deductions on Winsurance 2. So often the price ends up being similar or even fractionally better on Winsurance 2 than the new reduced win price. And you've got that extra insurance if it runs second, you get your money back. So a little trick where you suspect there might be a few horses scratched. So you might see the favourite not have a rider declared. So you think, oh, this could be scratched. If you take the win price, you get a deduction. If you take Winsurance 2, no deductions.
Okay, like Eurostar, for example, is Winsurance 2, just so we can clarify it, is it 450 for the straight win, 360 Winsurance 2. So if you back him at 360 and he runs first or second, you get first, you get, how does it work again?
If he runs first, you only get 360.
Yep.
If he runs second, you get your money back.
Yeah.
Whereas, but let's just say in that race, you thought, well, actually, and I know it's probably, let's have a look. I don't think there's any riders not declared. But, oh yeah, Sky Fighter is not declared. So you think, well, Sky Fighter might scratch. So what's Sky Fighter paying? 15. So that's about a 6% deduction.
Yeah.
Just under 6. So that would drop your Eurostar price to about 420 potentially. So then it's 420 versus what was the Winsurance 2 price? 360.
360, yeah.
Probably. I think it's where you kind of sense that there's going to be take for example the Mitigator. You might go, well, the monetization, if it's a firm track, they might not want to run it. Now I'm only using this as an example. No inside information, and more than likely it will run. But if you go, hey, there's a question mark whether that favourite will run, and then you get a $2.70 horse being scratched, so that's over 30% deduction. So then the Mitigator's price drops to 7, but the Winsurance 2 price is, what is it, Neil? Bring it up.
I'll just change meetings.
Let's get back to here. The Winsurance 2 price on the Mitigator is, let's get the right race.
$8.
$8. So you're getting $8 with a bit of insurance versus potentially $7 if a well-favoured runner was scratched. So that's I'd play that if you're betting early and you think there might be some scratchings, or if you do know that a horse is likely to be scratched in that race, definitely do the Winsurance if it's a well-favoured runner.
Yeah, well, if say for example at Tiara, if you knew the rain was going to come, but the bookies couldn't factor that into the prices, and probably a new lay Crayeur, something else mitigated could be scratched. That leaves the monetization at $2 win insurance. Great value, doesn't it? You know,
if you've got especially over this Christmas period when there's lots of races and the horses have a few different options, and if it looks like it's going to be a wet track, let's just say Taupo on the 30th of December, it's looking like it's a wet track, and horses could probably run it. Tower on the 2nd or Tiaraha on the 3rd. So there's probably going to be a lot of scratchings. So if you're betting early before, say the day before, that's where win insurance can really start having some advantage. If 4 or 5 horses are scratched, your win price is going to be severely deducted. Your win insurance price not deducted at all.
Yeah, I've never noticed that. So you've had a bet on win insurance top 2, and it's paid out the full price. That's amazing. That's a good one to
obviously
exploit.
You want to do it and when conditions are in your favor.
Yeah, definitely.
The problem with win insurance from a deductions point of view is so hard to calculate with the deduction, and especially if you're getting down to win insurance 4 and there's 3 scratchings, and you might end up running top 4 and you get less than your dollar back, and that would just cause more issues and that type of thing. So TAB, it's definitely 100% legit what I'm saying here.
Right. Okay. So, that's a really handy little thing to keep aware of the day before.
Under your hat, don't go telling too many people.
Another gripe or bad is on the same sort of vein, really, with horses that are scratched. And we've mentioned this before a while ago, where you have, like tomorrow, if say demonetization came out at 270, that's going to be what, about a 10, 20, about a 30%.
So the calculation is 80 divided by the price of the horse scratch. So, for example, 80 divide 2.7, 80 divide 2.7, 29% deduction.
Okay, round it to 30. It's safe to say that you backed the mitigator before he came out, and then tomorrow you think, oh shivers, how much deduction am I going to get? For the fairness of and perception, you've got to have that price up there that he was scratched at, and the time as well. So when you backed a horse, it was before or after it was scratched.
Yeah. And that's the thing, you might have a bet on the mitigator, you go out, you don't really pay much attention what some of the others are paying. Then you don't. Scratched, you don't know. Yeah, it shouldn't be too hard. A lot of the Australian sites have, this horse was scratched at 844, and that's a 15% deduction. Occasionally they mention it on trackside when it's a well supported
they do.
Commodity, but I think you're going to make some inquiries, see if you can get that info put up on the TAB website. That's your homework for this week, Neil.
Yeah, no, I'll do that thoroughly. I'm looking forward to actually sorting that out.
Here's something the TAB are looking at bringing in. I'd say this is probably about $1.05 in shortening. So we'll break some more news, punting news. This is the place to get your punting news, ladies and gentlemen. Futures betting. I don't know about you, Neil, but sometimes with futures betting, you go, if the horse doesn't make the race or gets injured leading into it, I lose my money cold. I don't even get a run for my money. Does that put you off maybe from having a futures bet occasionally?
Oh, it definitely does. Yeah, definitely does. Yeah.
So if you knew that if your horse doesn't make the field for whatever reason, there's a bonus bet money back type thing up to maybe $50. Would that encourage you to maybe have some more futures bets?
Oh, definitely. You get your money back, obviously, in bonus bets if it does miss. But
that's the talk. That's the talk. The TAB going to introduce.
Definitely going to come in. It's great. Yeah.
Well, never say definite, but I wouldn't be saying it if I wasn't very confident it was coming in.
Yeah. What do you got?
That's something to look out for. I imagine it'd be only the first bet in each market, which is fair enough. But you might be tempted to back $100 shot that might not make the field in a race, but you think, hey, if it does, I'm getting probably a bit of value. But if it doesn't make the field, at least I get a bonus bet back, which we know isn't as good as your money back, but it's still something. So it's something to keep an eye out for. That's for sure.
Yeah, you got a horse like you got the 2 favourites in the Derby, Novair and Parianui Bay, racing tomorrow. Parianui Bay, $8. If you think that's a good Derby chance type of horse, which it probably is, and Novair, you could put 50 on there, and if they don't start, you get your money back. But I think if either of those start, even this early out, they'll be shorter than that. But just gives you more an incentive to maybe do have a
Incentive.
futures bet.
Yeah.
Was my last future bet was about 1944 or something. I don't know.
Sailor gear in the Derby on the Monday.
That's right, it was too. Probably was actually. Yeah.
Um,
I've had a few since.
Yeah, obviously these bonus back races work well in the early
Yeah.
part of a program. Get people betting, they lose, or they run second, third, or fourth. They get a bonus bet. They'll spend it later on that afternoon. All things being equal, so it just keeps people's interest up. Maybe gets them into the swing of things. So obviously the TAB don't do it to give money away willy-nilly, but obviously they see punter behavior. It generates the type of behavior they're looking for. So, but no, I think it's better than the current system. So you have to say it's an improvement. So that therefore becomes a bouquet in my book.
Yeah, definitely, especially with the big races coming up over Christmas time. If they can get on early, it's got to be a real plus. Good on the TAB if that definitely comes in. Rightio. Nothing else we can touch on before we sign off? Nothing else I've got down here.
Oh, yep. On a completely different note, Neil, I've been down in Queenstown for the last week and went to Milford Sound.
Oh, yeah.
Flew from Queenstown to Milford Sound. Amazing part of the world. If you're ever down there in Queenstown, make sure you book a trip on Air Milford. Fly to Milford Sound. You won't regret it. Amazing experience. Highly recommend it.
Yeah. They just fly all over the area, do they? And showing.
Oh yeah, they do. It's about a 14-seater plane.
Yeah.
It's only about 2 or 3 years old, so it's quite a flash. I think it's called a Cessna Caravan. So.
Oh yeah.
No, highly recommend that. And then you go out on the boat in Milford Sound and go for a little cruise and see parts of just nature and scenery that you won't see up in the North Island. I'll give you the tip.
Gee, yeah, no, looking forward to
I
that.
highly recommend that if you're ever down that part of the world. Amazing part of the world.
Yeah.
Pretty hard to fly back the day before the Cromwell races. Did drive past the Cromwell racetrack though last weekend.
Yeah. On
Sunday. Interesting thing, it was raining and they were irrigating at the same time.
Shit, it's just quite a dry track. It normally is this time of year.
It's very green to me. I don't know.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I'm going to miss there is the crowd and all the colour there.
On the Sunday, they get about 10,000 people there.
Yeah, I wonder if they will. They can't this Sunday. Oh,
no, it's closed meeting.
Oh, shit, yeah. No, it's a shame because that's a media I look forward to watching on TV just simply because of that and the colour and the crowd.
Yeah.
That'll happen next year.
Hopefully. Before they'll put it up. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, probably needed that irrigation and that rain. So.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. No, looking forward to being on track at Wanganui tomorrow, and you'll be watching from the couch, no doubt, and cheering home the Mitigator.
Yeah, the Mitigator and Eurostar, I think 450, as you say, a bit short now, but to get 5, maybe around 5s by start time. No, good day of racing, decent weather, and so good punting, everybody. Good fun, have a good time. Goat at the Wanganui races, just closed crowd there, I presume, and
no, I've got a few on. We've got 230 people in the sponsors room, so we're keeping an eye on them and looking after them. Might do a bit of a little mini punting competition there. So, yep, we've got a few people on course there. So,
good stuff.
Not the same as normally Wanganui Cup Day. You probably get about 3,000.
Yeah.
But yeah, not to be this year. But hopefully, we're nearing the end of the tunnel, the COVID tunnel, and a few weeks' time, everyone who's double vaxxed will be allowed out at a race course.
Yeah, no, definitely. No, looking forward to those times too. Right. Okay. Have a great weekend, everybody, and good luck.